Please read the disclaimer. Donald Trump just admitted he made a mistake. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. We're going to talk about XRP, about Bitcoin, about the Clarity Act, about Donald Trump, and what was the mistake that he made and why the internet is making a mistake about the mistake. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smash that like button and let's get into it. So, we are midweek already. It is Tuesday. We are on a CPI week, and the market is still a little bit shocked from what happened last week, the big sell-off and the comeback. We're seeing for now, yesterday and today, even over the weekends, the market really hasn't had any pizzazz, hasn't had any movements. Did everybody get squeezed out? Meaning that did longs get squeezed out and then shorts get squeezed out and now there's no liquidity in the market? That could be a possibility. But let's look right now where we are. So if we're taking a look here, we can see XRP is at $1.42, down 1% on the day. Bitcoin actually dropped down here below 70,000 at 60,939. And this was the old all-time high from 2021, which had been previously a support and resistance area. So it's kind of stopped here at that level. Ethereum hugging 2000 level again. So if we go from last night, you can see Ethereum is down about 5% since last night, whereas XRP is holding a little bit better here, down only 2%, and that's in a similar time frame. I think this was a little bit more, 6 hours. So if we go back 6 hours here for XRP, right, you can see XRP is down about 2%. So interestingly, there was a dump here of Ethereum and Bitcoin kind of pulled back here at similar times, but XRP has been holding for the most part here at around the $1.40 plus minus range, right? So it will be very interesting to see what happens here with the crypto market today. We're still, if we look at the technicals, right, we're still, on the on the 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 200 moving averages, we got the sell signal. But the whole moving average on the shorter time frame, the 9-day, is giving us the buy, right? Of course, because we dropped all the way to $1.11 there and popped back to 142. So in a shorter time frame of only 9 days, where it's looking good. But if you only look at that, that specific time frame, and you only look from here, then of course it looks good. But if you zoom out just a little bit, it doesn't look good at all. And if we look at the oscillators, most of them are neutral. The momentum is, again, on the shorter time frame is with a buy, and the MACD on the 1226, which is a little longer time frame, is giving us the sell. Similar here for Bitcoin and Ethereum, similar action. Interestingly, that XRP has that whole moving average that's giving us on the shorter time frame, I think because of the strong recovery that it showed on that short period of time. So very interesting. If we refresh here the crypto fear and greed index, interestingly, we fell back into one digit, right? So after we were in one digit for 3 days, right? We had one day where we popped back up, but it could be because of this sell-off that we've seen here where Ethereum went closing down to 2000 again, or maybe fear of what we talked about last night, the situation between Iran and the US. So we're back down into one digit here for the crypto market. So we are back into extreme fear, right? Anything in this area in my book is extreme fear. You can see that historically we haven't been in this area for more than a couple of days in history. There has been some actions in 2020. The most lowest point of 2022, the lowest point in 2019, right? And now in 2026. And if you go and you look back again at all these dates, they were lows. So does this mean that this is a low point? Probability tells us yes. Do we know for sure? No. Okay. The pain could continue, just the fear subsides a little bit, and we need to take that in consideration. As always, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice, and you should always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. Also, remember that I will never contact you on social media asking you to sign up to anything or to send me anything. Those are scammers, those are imposters. If you see me in a weird video promoting something, it's not me in an ad or something like that. That's AI. That, there's shenanigans like that also going on right now. Just be careful. My dad, God bless him. He just told me that his phone got infected a second time in the past year, and he clicked on some link from some finance group that he's in. And I told him previously, I said, Dad, don't click on these links. You don't know who's sending it. You don't know who's posting these things. And of course, he didn't listen and he clicked again. That's why he sends me all kinds of articles and things, and I don't read them. I don't click on them because I'm afraid that he's, infected. So just be careful out there. Make sure you're always going to original source, and don't click on any links from a source that you might know they might be infected as well. Always go to that URL. Always look for that URL, and be very, very careful out there. Okay. There's a lot of social engineering that goes on and things like that. If we go and we talk about the Clarity Act, just in White House to hold second round of bank crypto talks for Clarity Act market structure legislation. So we did not see some people are saying, well, maybe we're going to have something come out yesterday. We did not see that happen. But today there's going to be a second round of talks, and we'll potentially see if anything comes out on that. In just a second, I'm going to bring you a clip from Secretary Bessent that's kind of angry at Coinbase, but we'll get to that in just a second. Yeah, it's a little bit beef with Coinbase. This is interesting. We talk a lot about the flows of Bitcoin, and we talk a lot about the flows, what's happening in the market, and how that's affecting crypto in general. So on the one hand, we're seeing Bitcoin ETFs that are back into net inflows. Bitcoin ETFs record the second straight session of net inflows for the first time in 3 weeks, with 145 million being added on Monday. But also, right, Orlando, he's big on reading the tape on options, right? And he is seeing that the Bitcoin shorts keep covering as downside hedges keep coming off. IBAT March OPEX puts sees more unwinding, with open interest dropping multiple days in a row. Biggest unwind happened on February 5th when Bitcoin bottomed. So there was massive puts that were being bought on the Bitcoin ETF, the big one, the BlackRock one, and that was creating a situation where there was selling pressure that was being created from what the option buyers and sellers were doing with the ETFs. When the ETFs came out and when they introduced the options on them, I warned that this could be a double-edged sword, because there potentially could be more potential for profit making, but also more shenanigans and more ways to leverage and to remove you hear the WhatsApp messages. I forgot to turn that off. I'm sorry about that. You're gonna have more selling pressure that could potentially happen because of people buying these puts, and they could be creating pressure on Bitcoin itself, where you're not seeing, oh, why is this happening? Well, it's coming from the tape. And you can see here that Orlando, he's really good at it. Like I've been following him for a long time, and he's been able to sniff out these kinds of things, and he's calling the potential bottom here. So I'm going to go with Orlando. So there's these headlines going out around Twitter and social media saying, Trump, I made a big mistake on the Fed, right? And people are clipping that and posting and saying that Trump is now regretting the pick of Kevin Warsh, which is not true, right? He is referencing, and we'll listen to the clip in just a second so you can hear it. he's referencing the fact that he made a mistake with Powell not choosing Kevin Warsh back in 2017. But what is the internet doing, right? And posting about this and creating fear, right? And potentially this sell-off that happened was because of the clipping of that that clip, right? Is the fact that people potentially are short here. So they're posting these things to make people think, oh, Trump is already regretting the Fed chairman decision and it's bad, right? But no, that's not what he did. And actually is promising a high quality Fed chair who will do something spectacular, right? And so that's the situation. You know what? I want to bring up one of those posts just to show you the shenanigans that goes on social media. Okay, so I got one, and this is actually, you know what? This is bad because this is someone that has a YouTube channel, right? And he's posting this that he says, I made a mistake, right? Where if you listen to the whole clip, this is why social media is so dangerous. And this is why I always try to get you the best information that I can. And I try not to, be first, because I know that a lot of the information that's going out there is fake or clipped or is not the whole story, right? So it's very important to subscribe to the channel, watch multiple channels, right? So you maybe if, let's say, he got it wrong and you watched his channel, but now you watch my channel, you can see, oh, okay, this is the real story. Okay, so that's very important as well. Let's take a listen to what President Trump said.
When did you, in your heart and mind, when did you know you wanted Kevin Warsh?
So
officially it was 2 Fridays ago, but when did you?
Well,
really
I made
know?
A mistake. He was runner-up, if you want to say that.
He was a finalist.
Yeah, he was, and I made a mistake because I had somebody that was my Secretary of the Treasury, wanted him so badly, and I didn't feel good about him. But sometimes you listen to people, and it was a mistake. It was really a big mistake. But I think we're going to do something that's really spectacular. We should be at 15%. I'll tell you, if our new head of the Fed, who I think is going to be great, and he's a really high quality person, but if he does the job that he's capable, we can grow at 15%. I think more than that.
When did you?
So, of course, the clip that here is only the 33 seconds of his saying, I made a mistake about, right, that we heard. It's not the full clip. So just be careful what you're watching and what you're doing on the crypto market in general, and make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you understand before there's always going to be the aggregators. This is aggregation at its finest, where someone only takes a certain part of the clip, it starts spreading, and that's what people catch on to, and then it gets hundreds of thousands of views, and the algos catch on to that, and they start releasing assets. So again, that's why, for example, day trading is so problematic and hard because of things like this. Okay, so just remember that and take that into consideration. Now, in a clip here of Secretary Bessent, he says that he blames Coinbase over Clarity Act pushback. Let's take a listen to what he says here.
Quick on this crypto legislation that seems to be hung up in the Senate. Secretary, do you expect that the Clarity Act will, in fact, come back for a markup? And why are we having a debate about bank margins? Where do you stand on this? Do you think crypto platforms should be able to pay rewards, pay customers for moving stablecoin or money out of traditional bank deposit accounts and keep them on crypto platforms? Where are you on that issue?
Again, Maria, I think what we're seeing in the crypto market over the past few months means more than ever that the U.S., we need market structure, we need clarity, and we need to get this across the line this spring. We got a few recalcitrant actors who said, well, it'd be better to have no legislation than the legislation we don't want. And I think both on the banks, the other crypto firms are united against them. So we need to get this across the line. The U.S., under President Trump's leadership, the U.S. is becoming the crypto capital of the world with our best practices, best regulation, and for crypto to remain a viable digital asset and move forward, we need to get this Clarity Act done.
So you think it'll come back fairly soon then?
I'm optimistic, and there's bipartisan support here.
So again, we'll see what Coinbase does and if they'll come back to the table, but it seems hopefully that, they make a compromise here, both sides, the banks and Coinbase, and we can get this through. It will be very interesting. This is also funny, a clip here. Jim Kramer, when we talked about this in the past, whenever Jim Kramer says, crypto is the greatest, Bitcoin's the greatest, it's usually the top. And when he's like anti-crypto, it's usually the bottom. And let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Robinhood reports people are starting to get unnerved by how closely aligned this stock is with the price of Bitcoin. Even after today's dramatic rebound, Bitcoin still feels like it's lost its luster. The precipitous decline of the cryptocurrency occurring at the same time as a weakening dollar calls into question whether it's a real storehold of value or even a hedge against inflation. We know nothing. This volatile thing we used to think it could be a currency. That's obviously not going to happen. It's a great speculative asset, I guess, until it started plummeting. So Robinhood may be the repository of something that's become toxic and I think a lot less dependable.
So he said until it started plummeting, right? They always reference it to the price, right? But remember, people look at Bitcoin as Bitcoin, right? And they look at XRP as XRP. Kramer, he gets excited when it's popular and when the price is going up, and he gets anti when the price is going down. This is just what he does every single time. That's why people use the inverse Kramer ratio in order to time their trades, because that usually gives us a sentiment is when the social sentiment is at its highest and lowest is when he flips on that specific asset or on that specific stock. That was just an interesting situation there with the Kramer, the inverse Kramer, right? This is also an interesting data here. Stablecoin inflows have doubled despite the recent crypto selling pressure. What do you think? Investors' interest is back, or are people de-risking their bags to protect their capital? Could we have a situation where people are converting fiat US dollars into stablecoins in order to purchase the dip? Or do we're seeing stablecoin inflows because people are de-risking, they are selling their assets and transferring into stablecoins and then transferring them on the Ethereum network? And that's the big question here. I think it's a mix of both. And there just was a lot of action towards the end of that week. So we'll see. We'll see again what happens here again. CPI week can be very, very problematic. And this, again, we've talked about this. This is interesting. Dessert here, right? MrBeast chocolates. MrBeast, a company, decided to buy a mobile app called Step, right? And many young people use it. It's for teens and young adults. And there was talk about potentially him integrating also cryptocurrency into the app, because when they filed for their license, they had mentioned cryptocurrency, right? So this will be very interesting to see if MrBeast, with his huge platform, also enters the crypto realm, and potentially, I don't know if that's good or bad, the younger generation will have its first taste of the cryptocurrency market, potentially, if he decides to do so. Very, very interesting day today. We'll see how everything plays out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. Let's try to get 1,000 likes on this video. Check out the links in the description down below. See if anything of our affiliate links interests you, okay? Membership is also open, and we have super thanks as a way to support the channel as well. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.